Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Your Spiritual Journey. This is Dr. Bob, and this is the space and the place where we talk about things important to your soul. I am very excited about having our guest this morning. She is, what can I say, someone I met at a psychic fair, and it's a psychic fair that will be held again on November 2nd at the Comfort Inn on Rhode Island Road in Penn Hills. So if you're a local person, I recommend that you get to the Comfort Inn on November 2nd. My guest is Eva Tamez Trevino, and I was at that psychic fair. I had my own booth, and I looked across the hall, and there she was doing some strange things with Rooted in Sound. And Rooted in Sound, if you've been a follower of this podcast, Wyatt Melius, who was an early guest on this podcast, who does sound healing, was my guest on an earlier program, and Eva now works with Wyatt at Rooted in Sound. But her background, she actually graduated from medical school in Mexico. And then she continued her education, getting a master's degree in immunology and a doctoral degree in medical microbiology. It was around 2004 that she started experiencing physical ailments that were very debilitating. And she was being referred from one doctor to another, and after a while she ended up with more questions than answers. So she knew she had to look beyond conventional medicine. Mm-hmm. After being diagnosed with PTSD, fibromyalgia, and prediabetes, she decided that she had to do things a little differently. And that's when she started her physical, mental, and spiritual healing journey, which we will hear a little bit more about. I got to experience some of her biofield-based practices when I was at that psychic fair. And it excited me to see what she was doing there with tuning forks. I had a previous encounter with tuning forks at the Northeast Reiki retreat, mm-hmm. because I was sitting for a long time in a seminar, and somebody else in that seminar, when we took a break, said, "I bet we're all stiff. Let me help everybody in the room." And she took a tuning fork, went around and put that tuning fork on the top of the spine, mm-hmm. and it vibrated us into relaxation. And I was just amazed. So when I saw Eva working with tuning forks, I thought, I got to get more of that. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Eva. But the first thing that we do is start with your spiritual journey from childhood until now, and then we'll have a conversation.
Okay, from childhood. Oh, it's going to be a bit. Well, I was born in Mexico, in a town called Canatlan, from the state of Durango. And my father, he is a teacher. He was a teacher. And they moved him around a lot. So he met my mom and they got married. And then we traveled a lot because of my dad's job, because of my father's job. And My mom was always she wanted to study, and her passion, she wanted to be a doctor. That was what she wanted to be. So, but of course, with 5 kids was kind of difficult, right? And traveling around even more. But we ended up establishing where my dad's family was. They were helping her with us, like taking care of us. And she actually became a doctor.
Oh, she did it.
Yes, she did. And she's pretty good. No, really, she is. And so my dad also was always striving to become a better person and a better professional. So that's what we saw at home. And that's what that was part of our education. But also there we had this other part that it was my grandma. Yeah, she was there present all the time. We would get sick and she would bring herbs and some remedies. And so we lived in this world, this like combining these two approaches. And so what can I say? I always was interested my whole life. I've been interested on different philosophies, different approaches, and deep inside, I knew that what we were taught wasn't all. That there was something deeper. Yeah, I had a few experiences that taught me this is, and everybody would say, no, you were asleep or you were crazy.
Yeah.
Either one.
Could you describe one of those experiences?
Yeah, well, one of the things was the house that we lived for most of our childhood. There were things happening, like noises, and of course they were always trying to explain it in like a scientific or scientific way. And but there was these, I haven't told these to many people actually, this experience I had where I just woke up, I was asleep and then just opened my eyes and there was like this terror. And like, okay, what is going on? And I didn't want to be in my room, so I moved to the living room, and it was still. So anyhow, I went to check with my little brother, and I was like, okay, move. But there was a person in his bed.
Oh.
And I was like, but I couldn't see like the face, like the torso up. And I was like moving this person on, like, because I thought it was my other brother, and I was like, that's so weird. And okay, like just move and get away. Yeah, get off the bed and but didn't move. And so I went to check on the room of my other brothers, and they were there on the beds. When I came back, the person was still there. I was like, okay, maybe it's my dad. So I moved him. And then I went to check to my parents' room. When I come back, he wasn't there. That person wasn't there. And then I started freaking out, of course. And I woke up everybody, and we were looking all around the house, and nothing. Everything was like all the door closed. There was no way someone could have like get in and out in, I don't know, 10 seconds or 15 seconds that took me to just check on my parents' room. So there were other things kind of like that. And of course, my dad and my parents were like, no, you were asleep. Or like, I'm completely sure I was awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody started dismissing that, like, okay, then I maybe just imagined it. And I don't know what happened, but I'm going to put it in like kind of in a box in the back of my head, right?
Yeah.
So So I actually, yeah, I started like, I went to med school and all the things that you just described, grad school. And it was like, for me, felt like kind of like a container. Yeah. I have science and that was it.
Yeah.
And so this kind of events or perceptions, I completely dismissed them all the time. It was like, no, I'm just kind of imagining it. And so when I came here because I was going to marry my daughter's father. He is from here, not from Pittsburgh, from other place, and so we came here, my daughter and I, because I was finishing, when she was born, I was finishing my PhD at that time. So I came here, I was like, okay, I can write the thesis from there. And it ended up, and it was a really bad situation, like really, really bad situation with him. And so there was all these things about, how can I explain it, Bob? It was very distressful. It was very.
So after you came here and married him,
I actually, yeah, we got married,
bad.
but he didn't fix the papers for us.
Oh.
And so basically I became an slave. Yeah. And he was terrorizing me all the time about like getting me deported and take away my daughter. That was basically the only thing that I would care about at that time.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I found really good people who helped me all the way. And I finally got my papers and started working for the university at a lab. And I was like, I don't care. I need to support my daughter.
Which university?
At the University of California.
Okay.
Yeah. In Davis.
In Davis. Okay.
Yes. So I started working there at the immunology lab, but at the the veterinarian med school. I was like, okay, science is science.
Okay.
Human or animal, right? And it was, that was great for me. It was fantastic because it also gave me the flexibility to be with my daughter. Yeah. So it was perfect. For me, it was perfect. So I think I've always been taken care of. Yeah, and watched over. Someone is watching over me all the time. I'm very sure of that. So there was a lot of people who helped me, and I'm very grateful, very, very grateful for that.
Yeah.
And but also there was like a constant stress, high stress for a long time. So I ended up diagnosed with PTSD and then fibromyalgia because it was so terrible. It was like I was in pain all the time. I had no energy. It was really bad, all the symptoms of fibromyalgia. And then they were sending me from one doctor to another. And my doctor, she was great. She was really trying to figure out what was going on with me. But she didn't have the answers, right? Yeah. So that I got to the point that it was like, okay, I need to do something different. This is not working, and the answers are not here. And so it was like everything that happens to me in life sometimes is I was at the library, and then there was these shelves. They were cleaning them up or doing something. And there were like these two books from Miguel Ruiz, the 4 Agreements.
Sure.
Author.
Oh, yeah.
So I read them and I was like, this is what I want. This is how I want my life to be. And that's actually what it started me in this journey. A friend of mine, I told my friend, a friend that I have, And I told her, I want these. And like, read the books. And she was all excited also. But we were like, well, how do we do it? Like, the school or trainings are in San Diego, right? Like, okay, well. But then the university had these amazing, it was called the Experimental College. And people would teach all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was this guy teaching the 4 agreements, like how to apply the 4 agreements in your life. And his name was Ramin Yazani. And he was one of Don Miguel Ruiz's apprentices. So we started studying with him. We took the class with him. And at the end of the class, we were like, well, we want more. And so he was all excited because then we created this group with other people. We were like 4, usually 4, and there was another person who would come in and out whenever he wanted. And we did a lot of work on that. Ramin really knew how to guide us, and it was one of the best experiences I had. Yeah, for the first time, there were things that were just like dissolving, let's say. Yeah, and for the first time, and I can't have memory of feeling as happy as I was when I was doing that. It was amazing.
Just for the audience, not everyone in the audience has read the 4 agreements.
Okay.
My wife has. She swears by them. They started her spiritual journey. Would you talk a little bit about what the 4 agreements are?
Yeah, you will have to help me because my memory is kind of... So the first agreement is... what is the first agreement? Jesus.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes,
we
that's fine. We will
this,
go there.
audience.
It's like
Okay.
we haven't rehearsed this, so you know that this is spontaneous. Okay, but well, I'm not gonna say it in order, right? But is one is like do the best you can, or like do your best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and by doing your best, it means it's like you don't have to overdo or kill yourself by doing things. Is if you are tired that day, your best that day might be less than another day, but that's good because your intent was doing your best. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other one is don't make assumptions. Ask. If you need to know something, because we create all these stories in our heads, right?
Right.
We have all these conversations back and forth. And then when we confront the person, because now we are angry or who knows what was going in our heads, and the person has no idea what you were talking about. Yeah.
Right.
It was like you created the story, but that person wasn't in your story. Part of the story in your head. So don't make assumptions. Yeah. You want to know something, go and ask. The other one is be impeccable with your word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is not an easy one. Actually, none of them are easy. They are simple, but they're not easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was don't make assumptions. I can't remember the other one, Bob, right now.
Did it have to do with forgiveness or acceptance?
No.
Okay.
I can't remember. I might remember it later.
Okay.
If that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm doing my best.
No, I just know that, just as you discovered that, my wife and others have, that's been their introduction, if you will, to,
Yes.
okay, what are we all about? What's important? What,
Yes.
and what do we do with what we know, and how to live, I guess. Yeah,
Yes.
how to
Yes,
live.
exactly. And it's how to live. If you learn how to, if you start knowing yourself, if you're really like knowing yourself and accepting yourself, then you can have a very fulfilling life.
Yeah,
Yeah. It doesn't
right.
mean that is like I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to have all these things and my health is going to be perfect. And no, it's not like that.
Yeah,
It's like you will be happy no matter what. You
yeah,
will be content no matter what.
right.
Yeah, it's being at peace with yourself, being at peace with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you accept everything. No. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, it's a message that that we work to deliver on this podcast, is to help people find that peace when there's chaos all around you.
Yeah.
And you have a choice to engage in the chaos or to find your center and live at peace. And so it's an important message. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes. Yeah. I think that was a very, very important part in my, not I think, it actually was a very important part in my journey.
Yeah,
It was crucial
right.
in my journey.
So going back to your childhood, were you raised in any particular religion? Did you go to church with your family, or?
Yes. My family was Catholic. My
Okay.
parents weren't very, because my dad at that time was more like science and
Uh-huh.
all these things. So we didn't have to go to church. However, my grandparents, they were very devoted.
Yeah.
They were practicing, and and we would spend a lot of time with them. With my grandparents from my mom's side, we spent a lot of time with them on vacations, and we would spend months with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was, by the way, it was a very happy time for us
Yeah.
when we were there. Yes, but we had to go to church. That was
Okay.
no question. They sent us actually to do the was like get the preparation for first communion and things like
Mhm.
that.
However, you said she was also very much into herbal medicine and
My dad's mom. So,
Okay,
and we
so that's
spent
the
a
other
lot of time.
grandparents.
Yes,
Okay.
she was a big part of our lives. Yeah, she
Uh-huh.
was living with us for a while.
Okay.
So, and yes, she was very into herbs and remedies, like home remedies, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was taking care of everyone all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this Catholic upbringing, did that stay with you after you left your familial home?
Yes, it did actually. It did. Um, and the thing is, I had to unlearn some of the things because there is a lot of guilt. And yeah, because like you're sinning
Uh-huh.
and you have like these, you feel like dirty all the time.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, sin is a big thing
It
with
is a big
Catholics.
thing.
Yeah.
It is a big thing. so so I had to to work on that part of like you are a sinner.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Because I think that that's based on fear.
Yes.
Yeah. And when there is fear, love cannot be there.
Mhm.
Yeah. In order to let love in, you need to work with the fear.
Yeah. Now, where'd you learn that?
Somewhere.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was when, yes, it was part of the learning during my years with the Toltec groups, yeah, it was Miguel Ruiz's groups.
Hmm.
Yeah, I started, we created that group with Ramin, but then there was a time when I was like, okay, I cannot be here anymore. I need to to move from here. Yeah,
Yeah.
my friend, she left, and it was too many. Like I think it was too. It became, there were too many males there, and I was the only female, and it felt really unbalanced for me.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, well, like, okay, it is time for you to choose your journey. Your journey. I'm not going to be guiding you all the time. You have to do you,
Yeah.
right? and and at first I was really frustrated and angry at him because I felt like he was abandoning us. Yeah, but I think that happens in groups. Yeah, when someone become a leader and the people tends to like, okay, he's gonna be guiding us. He has all the
Right. Right.
answers. I don't have to worry about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so when they like kind of like push you out of the nest, right? I'm like, what is going on here, right? Where's the
Yeah.
love? Well, there is the love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of that, it was that I actually look for other group, and it also happened like really randomly that I found them. Yeah, I
Hmm.
went to these fire walk. And
Oh,
yes.
okay. Tell us about the
Oh my
firewalk.
God, that was
That's
amazing. I love fireworks. Yes. And so I was at that firewalk with uh, Heather Ashamara. And she actually is she was another um, Miguel Ruiz's apprentice. And and so they had these groups in Berkeley, and they call them the Spirit Weavers. And so I enrolled in a group, in the Spirit Weavers group, and I would go. I think we would get together every month. We would work like the whole weekend very intensively, and then we had homework for the whole month. But
mm,
yes, it was intense. But it was amazing. It was really good. It helped me to mm, change my perspective of
mm,
things, change my perspective of life, even the situations and the whole experience that I had when I came here and with my daughter's dad. That was one of the worst experience I've ever had in my life, I think. Um, Even that, it changed my perspective, my
yeah.
perspective,
All
my
right. So I
perspective.
have to know, did you actually walk through fire?
Oh yeah, I did. Yes,
Okay.
I like doing that.
So what is the basis for being able to walk through fire without pain?
Okay. There's like the two, and I always this has been for me. It has been a conflict for a long time. It had been a conflict for a long time because the people who does the fire walks, yeah, they say, okay, you raise your energy, your vibration, and you are
Hmm.
able to walk through the fire, right? But then we have the people who is like, no, 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 this is not scientific. What it happens is you are sweating, your feet are sweating, and that's what is protecting you when you walk through the fire.
Mm.
So take your pick. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What it matters is the intent that you put in that, and when you know and you do it, when you're able to do it, when you do it, is like, if I can do this, I can do anything, right?
So I take it it's not fire. These are hot coals,
They are
right?
hot coals.
Hot
Yeah,
coals.
no, it's not
Okay.
fire.
And
Call it that, but no.
when, I guess, at what point do you say, "Oh, I can do this"?
When
You
I
know?
was at the firework?
Yeah. I mean, that has to be a switch that you turn
Yes.
in
Oh,
your
no,
head
no.
and say, "No, I
Actually,
can't do that." To, "Oh, yeah, I can do that."
yes. Well, we get you get a training
Yeah.
previous. So we are for several hours and we're doing some exercises and to raise our energy or vibration, they say. And then you are there and just the energy of the group, just seeing people doing
Mm.
it. And at some point it's just like, why not? That was one of the things that I actually learned with the Toltecs groups. It was, why not? Yeah. Ask yourself, why not? Anything that you're going to do, and you have all these doubts, of course, and just ask yourself, why not?
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can have your answer. And maybe you have some reasons for not doing it. But then most of the time it's like, yes, why not? Yeah, so it switches. Yeah, you're right. There is a switch, and you are there, and you see all these people, and like all these. Oh, and well, when I was then the ones that I have experienced is like all this drumming and chanting, and you get into. I think you get into this actually, yeah, like kind of trance, and then you can do it. Just do it. You just walk, and you're like, wow, I'm on the other side.
Okay. Well, that's probably a question I've had in my mind for years, and I I thank you for explaining that to me. Okay, so we left you on the West Coast,
Yes.
but
Working at a lab.
somehow now you're in Pittsburgh.
No,
So
I'm in Pittsburgh, yes.
yeah, so how did that happen?
Okay, so my daughter and her partner, they weren't happy there. Yeah, we were living together, and we had an apartment, and they weren't happy there. And for me, it felt like it was time to go. Yeah, it was time to move. And my original plan was like, okay, I drop them there basically. And then I go to Mexico. I go back to Mexico and I stay there, right? Or yeah, I make plans to move back to Mexico.
Yeah,
It was, Bob, it's just life gives you signs all the time.
sure.
So I got here. I basically dropped them there. And the next month I was in Mexico. And I tried really hard to go back twice.
Oh,
Yeah. And I stayed there for a long time, like 2 months each time, because I wanted to, work things out over there.
so at this point you have dual citizenship, U.S.
Yes.
and
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Mexico. Okay.
Since before I started working, we got both dual citizenship. So I was like, okay, I'll go back. Also because my dad had been really, really sick. He was almost crossing over. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's doing great now. It's amazing, his recovery. Yeah. They cannot believe how well he has recovered. Yeah. And it is funny. This is, well, like a side story, but when he got really sick, my mom, of course, she was a doctor, right? And so they were doing all what doctors do, and he wasn't getting any better. On the contrary, he was getting worse. So finally one day she calls me and she's like, okay, look for something that is going to help your dad. I don't care what it is, just do it. I'm like, okay.
Hey.
Because I kept telling her, not pushing because I didn't want to push, but there are things that can help him that yeah, your doctor is not going to approve, right?
Yeah.
The doctor is not going to approve. And so, and it's not because they are bad, it's just that they have their protocols, right?
Right. Right.
So finally, yeah, we started working with him, but he went through a really, it was a journey for him. It was because then he felt he had a hemorrhage. They had to do brain surgery, and
Ooh.
it was, yeah, it was really bad.
So to hear
we
that
thought
he's
he was
doing well
leaving.
now, that's
Oh
amazing.
no, he's doing amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. From being in bed, not being able to move whatsoever, and everything has to be done for him, incontinent and everything, just like a vegetable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some consciousness, but from that, now he is reading, and we have a hard time getting him down from stairs. Yeah, because he insists on going up on the stairs, and he is working at the computer. He is walking. He's doing everything almost the same way he was doing it before he got sick.
Okay, so what is it that you did?
Well, it was.
that helped?
I suggested some herbs, some compounds, some like supplements also, and I used. That was it's called Bioenergetics, and we offer that service also here.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and this is kind of like a program. We do a voice analysis. We have two different voice analysis, but with this one, through the voice, it makes an analysis, and then it tells you where your energy is out of balance. And then it can be corrected. And they correct it with, it's called infoceuticals, because they imprint the information that is missing. They imprint it in water, in mineral water, pretty much, water with minerals. And so these are drops. So you get your drops, and then also there is this machine that uses 3 different technologies. Yeah, it uses center technology and BMFs and what is the other one that they use? TENS, like the TENS units.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it combines this, and it has like a program for basically for almost every organ in your body, but also not just the organs, but the energetic body. So
this is available at Rooted in Sound?
Yes, I am the one who's offering it.
Wow.
So
okay.
yes, we do that. That I was like relentlessly with him, my poor dad. No, he was doing. It's actually very relaxing. So we were giving him the drops, and of course it's like a combination of everything. But what it does, this technology, what it does is it brings back your body like into balance. It's like the blueprint. It goes back to your original blueprint, or it's trying to bring you back to that.
Okay.
So your body can do what the body does. The body heals itself.
Right.
Yeah, whatever we say, I'm going to heal you, or I don't say that at all. At all. And or no, it's your body healing yourself, healing
Right.
itself. You give it the tools. You need to give the body the tools so the body can relax, can get into that state of, okay, this is the repair state. Yeah, I'm getting into this repairing state.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do that, the body can do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just give him the tools. And this is actually a pretty good one. For my dad was very important. Was one of the tools that was very important.
So did you know about this technology before you came to Rooted in Sound?
Oh, yes. Yeah, actually I brought it there.
So where did you get in touch
Well,
with that? Was it at Davis or
it
where?
was when I was in Davis. Well, when I was in Davis, yes, I was working for the university, but then also many years before or before coming here, like 15 years before, I started because I was having all these problems.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
myself. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? And I started with Reiki. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was great. But this is the conflict that, that I was telling you about. I was always with this conflict of, okay, there is science and there is this other thing that I don't really know what it is, but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can I reconciliate both? And it took me many, many years. Actually, I just did recently where I was like, okay, there is another world. There is another side that we cannot see. And there's a lot of things that cannot be measured. Yeah. Scientifically
Right.
measured yet.
Uh-huh.
Because there has been so many discoveries lately that actually confirming what I was learning.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like becoming a marriage for me.
Yeah.
So I was working at the lab. I was doing all this science stuff there. Yeah. So all the academic side, let's say, there. But then I started studying and getting trained on different modalities. I started with Reiki. Then I started with other things like bioenergy balancing, etc. And at some point, like in 2017, I opened my practice. I was like, okay, because I was just doing it with my friends, family,
Yeah.
myself. And then they were like, you should open a practice.
Okay.
Like, okay.
So where did you open that practice?
In Davis.
In Davis.
In Davis,
Okay.
yes. In 2017, I opened my practice. And my very good friend, Jeannie Brown, she let me use one of the bedrooms in her house to open my office, my first office. Yeah, she was very kind. She's really great. She's a great friend. So I started like that, very small, and then I opened and I started working in another office, and I started learning. It's just fascinating for me, all these things I've been.
It is fascinating.
Yes.
I'm fascinated.
Yes. So then it was like, okay, how can I? And because I always apply everything to myself first.
Sure.
Yeah. And whatever works for me, that's what I'm offering it because that's what I have feedback on.
Yeah.
Right. So, I I started doing different things. And then I got to, it just, it was very interesting from part that I had a problem, I had to solve it. That's the way that was the way my head was working, right?
Right.
So, okay, let's look for different things. And then it was like, well, sound. Then I came across sound in vibration. I was like, okay, let's explore these because this has a lot of potential.
Right.
Yeah, for a lot of things. So I started exploring more and learning more about it. And then it's like, okay, how can I do this? And I did like, I took some trainings on sound healing, but I felt like, okay, no, it's like this is not my thing. Yeah, I can do it. I enjoy it, but it's not the way I want to offer it. There is no way the way I want to put it out there. So I found, again, randomly, Eileen's book, the biofield tuning book, the tuning the human biofield, that one.
All right, before you go, I'm going to take pictures of the
Yeah,
covers
sure.
of these books.
Absolutely.
So, Tuning the Human Biofield,
Yes.
Healing with Vibrational Sound Therapy, Eileen Day McCusick,
Yes.
and Electric Body, Electric Health,
Hmm.
also by Eileen Day McCusick.
And the thing that I like, it was that she had the scientific approach because she also likes to do the science. And the how and yes, how these would affect the biofield tuning would affect biologically the
Uh-huh.
person. Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, this is great. This is what I want. This is what I need right now. Yeah. I was so excited. Really excited about it.
Well, I was excited when you told me about this at the psychic fair. I said, "We got to do that." That's even though the conditions weren't
Yes,
optimal
no,
because
they
there were a
weren't.
lot of people
And
around
a
and a
lot
lot
of
of
noise.
noise. Uh, I was able to focus in, and obviously you were able to focus in. So I just have to tell the audience from what I
Yes, please.
experienced,
Please do.
this wonderful woman from Mexico was able to take a tuning fork or tuning forks. I wasn't sure. I wasn't watching exactly what you were doing. And she started outside and worked her way in with the tuning fork vibration and was able to locate periods of time in my life that I experienced trauma. And to be able to ask me about that trauma a little bit as she worked her way into the present day. So the outside realm is your birth and all the way into your current state. Now that was my experience. So what were you doing and how were you doing it? How were you able to take the vibration of a tuning fork and say, "Oh, that year that something happened that year"? I don't know. Are you able to explain how that works?
Yes, actually,
Okay,
yeah.
please do.
Well, I will do it to the best of my abilities, but we have these biofield. We are electric
Right.
beings, right? They're like
Uh-huh.
we're electric, so we have these biofield, this electromagnetic field, and so it has like there is vibration there, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So there's sound vibration, yeah,
And
waves.
every cell in your body vibrates all the
Exactly,
time. Yeah.
exactly. So
Right.
we are creating this electromagnetic field, and what I uh, what it happens is, well, this is a theory behind this, is when there is a big shock, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
then there is a disruption in the field, and it leaves the imprint there. Yes, in the field. And it can be in different areas of your field, not just one area. It's one event can create different imprints in different areas. Yeah, because let's say it was a heartbreak. So you're going to create, and we move with the energetic centers
Okay.
of the
With the
body.
chakras.
Exactly. So if there's a heartbreak, well, there is like the part of the feeling unloved and betrayed. Yeah, and they
Mm-hmm.
will store in the area of the heart. Yeah, the heart area. But there is also this feeling of being unsafe because we were dropped, let's say. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like or feels like. So there is like things, aspects of it that they are going to store in the first energy center.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on so you have different imprints in your biofield. So the edge of the biofield, external edge, that is pregnancy, birth, the first year of life, about the first year of life, that you are really taking everything in from your mother. Or not just the mother, but the environment around her. Yeah. So that's it. But then we start like coming in, and then the closest you get to the body, the newer events, the newer the events. Okay. So what we do with a tuning fork is it's like when you're tuning an instrument. You get there with a tuning fork with certain tone, yeah? And then there is this, it actually creates a distortion in the sound of the fork. The person who is on the table a lot of times can say, well, like, wow, it's like, that sounds really like off, yeah? From the normal tone of the fork. So it changes the tone, but it changes also the vibration. And those are the things that we are detecting. Yeah, the vibration in our fingers. That's why I could do it with you. I tried to listen the best I could because there was a lot of noise. But it also, I was getting information through the vibration of the fork.
Through your fingers.
Through my fingers, exactly. Yeah. And I think in some way, yes, I don't know if it is true or not, but that's my feeling, yeah, that our energetic fields interact. And somehow I can access some information. Yeah, but it's because, well, we are all communicating some way or another, right?
Yeah.
So we give it a tone. When we find this distortion, then we stay there. We use sometimes other forks when it's not changing. Yeah, but we stay there with that tone because it's like giving it the tone. It's like you're tuning a guitar. Yeah, and you have your guitar and you're listening. Your body is doing that. Your body like, oh my God, that sounds awful. Yeah. Let's fix that, right? So it's like, okay, give me the tone. So that's what I'm doing with the tuning fork. I'm giving it the tone. I'm giving you the tone.
So there is one specific fork that you use initially.
Yes. Yes.
So which one are you using?
174 hertz. That's the one that we use for scanning.
Okay.
Most of the time. Yeah, sometimes we switch to some others, but that's the one that that we have been using for almost, for everything, to get the information.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, this is a 122 or 128.
Yeah,
let's see. Okay.
Yes, and it's okay. You can use any fork, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that matter. But that is like, well,
yeah,
that's
okay.
the fork. Yeah. So we give it a tone till the body is like, okay, I need to change that. And the body starts adjusting it until finally it does. So what we're doing is really collecting all these, those events. And now, if you and at the end, the other theory that Eileen has is that somehow, there's energy because of the distortion. There's energy trapped, like in pockets. Yeah, she sometimes compares them to video games. Yeah, you have like a prize in there. That is the energy that got trapped. And so somehow we are carrying that energy. And until we get to the end, to the close to your body, and then we bring it back into the energy center and drop it. Now, two things happen. Usually, if you have let's say, go back again to the heartache, you didn't have just one heartache in your life, right?
Right.
You had several heartaches, and it creates a pattern in your life. And so the thing is, you have all that energy holding that pattern in, and you're trying to change things and doing all this. Of course, it can be done in a different way, but the way that biofield tuning does it is like it takes away that energy. When that area of your field gets coherent, yeah, that energy gets released. That energy that was trapped in that.
Now, can that happen without you being able to identify what the trauma was?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
just because you're dealing with the energy, you're not dealing with your
Mind.
mind and your thoughts about the trauma. You're just dealing with the pure energy of it.
Yes. And when people is able to verbalize it, it helps because it's like a double process.
Yeah.
Dual process. But a lot of people cannot verbalize it, and it's still working. That's not an issue. It might take a little bit longer, but it works. Yeah.
So do you think you can deal with with essential tremors? I mean, typically these are caused by stress. At least that's what I've read, unless you inherit the condition.
Yes.
And I did not inherit this condition.
Okay. Well, okay, let's say this. This is not treating symptoms, yeah? But if the stress is the cause of your tremors, we can work with the stress.
Yeah.
What it happens is your body starts relaxing. It relaxes when we're doing the biofield tuning. I don't know what was your experience, but the body relaxes and it enters into that state of relaxation, repair.
Yeah.
That's what we need to give to our bodies. In these days, I don't want to sound like an old person, but there is so much stress. Everybody is stressed out. Everybody.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And it's over the top. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that causes a lot of problems. Yeah, oxidative stress, inflammation, and all these diseases. Yeah, that come along with it. So that's why I'm telling you, I'm not treating a symptom. Is what is causing these? Is the stress? Okay, let's deal with the stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this really, it really helps to deal with the stress.
So I'm accustomed to working with Reiki energy and trying to identify where in the body certain stress or blockages, we call them blockages, are stored, and then helping a person release those to help the body heal itself. Like you said, it's the body that does the healing.
Yeah.
What you need to do is just get the body to the point where it's allowed to do what it does.
Exactly, exactly, yes. You're right.
So the difference between, and you talked about this a little bit, about doing Reiki on somebody versus the biofield process. It seems like the biofield process is working on the etheric and other areas of the taric field that maybe Reiki isn't focused on, or how would you explain the difference in the modalities?
Okay,
I guess?
Look, I love Reiki.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a Reiki master and the whole thingy, but for me, like when someone doesn't have the energy to work things out, when you're doing biofield tuning, the person is participating in their own healing.
Right.
Yeah. It's like they are active in this idea of like, okay, yeah, I'm relaxed, but oh yeah, I can see that, and this is what it happens, and so you are participating with the practitioner. During Reiki, you are not. You are just receiving. And for instance, that's one of the things that I really love about Reiki is very gentle. It can be very gentle. And so for people who is really like exhausted, that is, I can't. I'm like, I don't have the energy to do this. Reiki is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You are giving them, they don't have to do anything, just receive. That's beautiful because that's another thing, Mom. We're not used to receive. Receive.
Right.
Not take away. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not used to receive. We're like, okay, I have to do this and I have to provide for that and I have to, and it's out, 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 out. And we deplete ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be very careful with that. Our energy is precious. When we start seeing our energy as precious, when we start seeing, like putting a, let's say a cost on how much is this going to cost me, like energetically, you start making better decisions. Yeah, because like, no, I don't think I want to, I don't know, talk to this person who, no. It's like they're just going to dump everything on me. Right. And I'm going to be like exhausted by the end of the conversation. So do I really want to keep these going?
Yeah, and I think as we get older, we learn to discern the people who drain us and the people who contribute to our energy.
Exactly.
And we make choices about who we want to interact with and where we spend our time.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's a choice. Sure.
So yes. So that part of like Reiki, receiving Reiki is so, it's very nurturing.
Yeah. Reiki
is very nurturing.
Yeah. I want to talk to you for another hour, but we can't.
No, that's fine.
We've come to the end of our time, and it is at this point. Although I'm going to remind my audience that I'll have information about these books and by the Biofield on my website under resources. Mm-hmm. But it's at this time that I allow the guests to leave our audience with any words of wisdom that they'd like, or just words, things that think you're talking to your friends, and this is the last thing you can say to them. What would you like to say?
Yeah, it's be aware of where you put your energy on.
Okay.
That's it. It's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you want to spend your energy?
Yeah. Okay, audience.
And take care of yourself. That's super important.
As always, take what resonates with you and put it into practice. Put the rest on a shelf until you're ready to deal with it. Until next time, this has been your spiritual journey.